Hello and welcome to the Hindu Analysis Prelims Special. Today we shall be discussing the prelim specific news in the newspaper of the 20th of February. So coming to the first article. Now this article largely gives us an opportunity to study a new term which is known as angel tax, and this is something that is important and it can be a question in the prelims itself. Now for understanding what angel tax means, you have to first and foremost understand that whenever there is a startup is something that is going to require for some funds. So definitely it is first and foremost going to go to banks to ask for loans for the funds. Now whenever it is going to go to banks will ask for some history of this particular company. They will ask for some collateral in return, and often it is seen that startups are unable to provide this to banks. So banks are not a viable source of loans for startup companies. As a result of which, startups have to look for some other investors. Now, it is seen that if some other company believes in the ideas of startups, they invest their money in startups. For example, if a company invests its money in a company like Apple, which was starting at one point of time, and after the success of that particular company, the shares of if the investor purchases the shares of a startup company, and this company then makes profits in the future, then that investor's money is going to increase. Similarly, if the startup fails, in that case, the entire money of the investor is going to go for a loss. So there is a possibility of both high rise or high loss in this particular case. So this is one different type of investment which is done. Now, it is this investment which was known as the angel investment, because for startups, these investors were like angels. Now, what was seen, however, in these investments was that this was somehow some malified intentions was what was seen. Often it was seen that companies were investing in startups simply to launder their money. So to curb this problem of money laundering with regards to investment in startups as angel investments, a tax was what was initiated in the year 2012, and this tax is what is known as angel tax. So coming to the definition aspect, angel tax is the direct income tax which is levied on startups for the funds raised through angel investors. Now this is important. Another thing is that it is levied on the value more than what is seen as the fair value or the fair market value. Now obviously if these taxes are what are levied on the startups, then what is going to happen is that this can discourage investment in startups. So a balance is what needs to be drawn. So what is done here is that a fair market value of that startup is what is estimated. And if the investment that in a particular startup is more than this fair market value, then that tax is what comes into action, and this is what is angel tax. And the rate of interest, the tax rate on this particular angel investment is nearly 30%. So you can see that it is a very high tax rate on angel investment. So this is what is about angel tax. Another thing that you should know, as I discussed previously also, that it was with the intention of curbing money laundering in the year 2012 under the leadership of the then finance minister Mr. Pranab Mukherjee. Now however, it was accused that because of this angel tax there is a lot of negative impact, because there are a lot of investments which are not coming into startups. So now the government has made certain changes, and the changes are that the government has made some notifications as per which some of the startups will now be considered as registered startups, and these registered startups will be exempted from any angel tax. Another thing that you should know is that a limit is what has been set. According to the government, if investment of up to 25 crore is what is made in a startup, then that is going to be exempt of this angel tax. Only investments above 25 crore is what is going to be taxed. Further, another thing which has been made is that if investments are made by a listed company of net worth of at least 100 crore or of a turnover of at least 250 crore, then in that case the investment will be exempted from angel tax. So even if you do not remember these basic rules which have been made now, what is important for us from PT point of view is to understand what angel tax is, and this can be a question in PT. So coming to the next article, Laureus laurels for Djokovic and Biles. Now we had discussed previously about the Laureus Award function. Now this is basically known as the Oscars of the Sports Academy. A lot of sports teams and individual players are honored in this event. Now What is important for us is that these awards is what have been given. In UPSC, there is a rare possibility of such kind of a factual question, but definitely in some other exams, these questions can come. So we should have some particular idea about this. Now, the Sportsman of the Year award has been given to Novak Djokovic. This is the 4th time that he has won this award. He's a tennis player from Serbia. The Sportswoman of the Year award has been given to Simone Biles. She is an American gymnast. The Team of the Year has been awarded to France national football team. They won the 2018 World Cup, and it is for this reason that they have been awarded. The Comeback of the Year award has been given to Tiger Woods, and you should know that it was in this particular category that Vinesh Phogat of India was nominated. It was the first time that an Indian was nominated in Laureus Sports Awards. This is something that is important for us. Another thing is that the Laureus World Sportsman of the Year award with a disability has been won by Henrita Farkasova for downhill skiing. He is a downhill skier from Slovakia, and he is blind, so that is something that is important. Another thing that you should know is about some other awards. This part I have highlighted here. For example, Naomi Osaka has been the Breakthrough of the Year. Then Chloe Kim, Action Sports Person. So these are some other awards which you can read if in case there is a question in some other exam. Coming to the next article, which is important from prelims point of view. Now, what has happened here is that a mammal named the Bramble milomes, this is a mammal which was found in Queensland in Australia, and it is the first time that a mammal has been declared extinct from the planet. Australia has declared that this particular animal is now extinct because for the past 1 decade this animal has not been spotted. Now, the reason for its extinction is that there was the island on which this particular mammal existed, that is the K Islands. It was a low-lying island on the coral reef. This island has been inundated under the ocean, and the cause for the sinking of this particular island is the rising sea levels, which is because of human-induced climate change. So this is something that becomes important for us. A question in this regard can be asked in UPSC in the environment section. So that's all for today's prelims related articles. I thank you all for watching the video.